This is the end of module assessment review for module 3, expressions and equations. Our first example is x plus 3 equals negative 8. Remember, subtract 3 from both sides. We have x equals negative 11. Our check, remember to rewrite, plus x plus 3 equals negative 8. Replace negative 11 plus 3 equals negative 8. So negative 8 equals negative 8. Question number 2 is x minus 2.1 equals 6.8. So we are going to add 2.1 to both sides. X is left on the one side because this crosses off. You add on the other side, we have 9.8 here. So we have x equals 8.9. So now we always rewrite our equation. Replace our letter with what we are saying our answer is. And remember to do the math and use your calculators. 8.9, leave change, change. So add in your calculators 8.9 plus negative 2.1, and that should give you 6.8. And is that what we're looking for? Answer, yes. Make sure that you have all of this information on the test. Next two questions. Our multiplication and division problem. We have negative 5x equals negative 35. Remember, the inverse operation of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 5. So divide both sides by negative 5. This side simplifies to 1x, or just x, equals negative 35 divided by negative 5 is 7. So the answer here is x equals negative 7, x equals 7. So remember, write our equation down. Replace negative 5 times 7 equals negative 35. Do the math. Make sure you use your calculators. Negative 35 equals negative 35. All of this information has to be on the test. Here we have division. W divided by negative 2 equals 6. So negative 2 multiplied to both sides. This cancels. We have W equals negative 12. So now we are going to rewrite our equation. Replace and do the math. Negative 12 divided by negative 2 is 6. Is that what we were looking for? Answer is yes. Next. We have rational numbers. So we have add 1/2. Subtract 1/2. So x equals 1/4. So now we have x plus 1/2 equals 3/4. We have 1/4 plus 1/2 equals 3/4. And again, I'm going to keep saying this through the entire video. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you use your calculators and put this in your calculators, and you will find that 1/4 plus 1/2 is going to give you 3/4. Your checks should always be your way of finding out whether your answer is right or not. Here we've got negative 12 equals negative 4y. So we are going to divide negative 4 to both answers, or to both sides. So we have here we have y equals 3. So negative 12 equals negative 4y. We're going to replace. You really don't need the parentheses on one of them, but I like to put that in there just to set them off. And our answer is negative 12, and it's correct. Next, we have 2x equals 12.4, so we are going to divide both sides by 2. We have x equals 6.2. Excuse me. So now we have 2x equals 12.4. So 2 times 6.2 equals 12.4. Again, make sure you put that in your calculators. So we have 2 times 6.2 equals 12.4. And that equals 12.4. So both sides are correct. For number 8, remember we have a fraction here next to a letter, which means we multiply through by the reciprocal, which is 7/1, and we do that to both sides. These cancel, become 1. So we have x equals negative 4 times 7/1 is negative 28. So now I have 1/7 x equals negative 4. So 1/7 times negative 28 equals negative 4. And again, in your calculators, you would get negative 4 equals negative 4. And that checks out. So next, we have our two-step equations. And our first one is 2r plus 16 equals 20. So the first step that we do is all adding and subtracting. So I'm going to subtract 16 from both sides. So I have negative 2r equals 4. Divide both sides by negative 2. And I have r equals negative 2. Now to check it, we have negative 2r plus 16 equals 20. So negative 2 times negative 2 plus 16 equals 20. 4 plus 16 equals 20. And 20 equals 20. So we have our answer, and it's correct. Our next problem, we have 1/3 x minus 7 equals negative 2. So in this case, we're going to add 7 to both sides. And I have 1/3 x equals 5. Multiply through by the reciprocal. And then I have x equals 15. So to check it, I have 1/3 x minus 7 equals negative 2. So 1/3 times 15 minus 7 equals negative 2. So here I have 5 minus 7 equals negative 2. Let me get that light for us. So now with leave, change, change, I have 5 plus negative 7, which is negative 2, equals negative 2. Our next equation is a distributive property. So remember to distribute to the 5, to the x, and to the negative 2. So I have 5x minus 10 equals negative 20. Now we have a two-step equation. So we're going to add 10 to both sides. So I have 5x equals negative 10. Divide both sides by 5. And I have x equals negative 2. So now to check, 5x minus 2 in parentheses is negative 20. So I have 5 times negative 2 minus 2 equals negative 20. Again, leave, change, change. So we've got 5 times negative 4 equals negative 20. Okay. Or negative 20 equals negative 20. Our next question is the 1/4, so that's got to be distributed. So we have 1/4 A, excuse me. And actually we're going to take the shortcut here by multiplying through by its reciprocal, so we don't have to worry about working with this fraction. Okay, so I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 4/1. This will be gone. So I have A plus 6. Here I have 10 times 4, or 40. Now I have a one-step equation, so I can subtract 6 from both sides. And I have A equals 34. So now I have 1/4 A plus 6 equals 10. So I have 1/4 34 plus 6 equals 10. So 1/4 times 40 equals 10, or 10 equals 10. Okay, so that takes care of the distributive property problems. Now we are going to continue to our combining like terms. With our combining like terms, we have two of them. We have here, we can combine our like terms. 2x plus x is 3x minus 9 equals negative 18. Add 9 to both sides now, which will give us 3x equals negative 9. Divide both sides by 3, which will now give us x equals negative 3. To check it, we have 2x plus x minus 9 equals negative 18. Always go back to your original equation, ladies and gentlemen. So we have 2 times negative 3 plus negative 3 minus 9 equals negative 18. So we have negative 6 plus negative 3 minus 9 equals negative 18. Well, when I add these two together, I get negative 9 minus 9 equals negative 18. Leave, change, change. So negative 9 plus negative 9 is negative 18. Therefore, it equals. And we check. Our next question we have is 5x minus 7x. So leave, change, change. So we have negative 2x plus 12 equals 8. So we are going to subtract 12 from both sides. And now we have negative 2x equals negative 4. Dividing negative 2 to both sides, we have x equals 2. So putting this into our check, we have 5x minus 7x plus 12 equals 8. So we have 5 times 2 minus 7 times 2 plus 12 equals 8. So we have 10 minus 14 plus 12 equals 8. Here we have leave change change. So we have negative 4 plus 12 equals 8. And here we have 8 equals 8, and it checks. Now we come up to the inequalities. So we have our one-step inequalities. Here we need to also graph them. So we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. And we have t is less than 1. So remember to put that number first. Go 2 above it, 2 below it, circle around it. There is no equal to, so it stays open. It's pointing to our window, so that's the way we shade. So now to check it, we've got t is plus 8 is less than 9. So I'm going to take 0. 0 plus 8 is less than 9. 8 is less than 9, so our answer checks. Our next one, we have g minus 1.7 is less than or equal to negative 10.3, so we're going to add 1.7 to both sides. Oops, that's a 7. So now we have g is less than or equal to. Remember, our signs are different, so you need to subtract these two numbers. And we get negative, excuse me, 8.6. So that number goes in the middle here. But what I can do here is, because we can deal with the whole number, so I'm going to go negative 7, negative 6, negative 9, negative 10. Because it doesn't matter, it's less than or equal to. So now I'm going to put a circle around it because it's or equal to. I'm going to color it in. And again, it's facing towards the window. So I'm going to color it in. Remember, make sure you color that arrow. Now let's check it. We got G, minus 1.7. And again, we can use a whole number. I'm going to. 1.7 is less than or equal to negative 10.3. Now remember, the larger the number in the negative side, the smaller it is. So I am going to pick 9. So I've got 9 minus 1.7, or negative 9, I apologize. It's less than or equal to negative 10.3. So leave change change. So we've got negative 10.7. Remember, is larger than that one. Larger the number, smaller it is. And it checks. So next, we're almost done. Giving you a lot of problems that you can work on to help you get ready for this test. And these are all of your checks for yourself. So now I'm going to divide. I've got divide both sides by 7. So x is greater than negative 7. So here I've got negative 7, negative 6, negative 5, negative 8, negative 9. Circle around that negative 7, nothing underneath of it. It's pointing towards the wall, so that's where I'm going. Okay. So now 7x greater than negative 49. I'm going to go with negative 6, so 7 times negative 6 is greater than negative 49. Negative 42 is greater than negative 49, so it checks. Here we're going to multiply both sides by negative 3. Here's our exception to the rule, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, we are multiplying by a negative number, which means we switch our sign. Okay, remember we switch our sign? So we've got negative 18. So r is greater than or equal to negative 18. We have negative 18, negative 17, negative 16, negative 19, negative 20. Circle around that negative 18 and let's color it in because it's or equal to. Coloring it towards the wall. Now let's check it. We've got r over negative 3 is less than or equal to 6. I'm going to use negative 15 because it's easy to divide it by negative 3. And we've got 5 is less than or equal to 6, so it checks. Now we've got two-step inequalities, same thing. We can subtract 16, just as like at the equations, we're going to solve them the exact same way. So we've got 4x is greater than or equal to 4. Divide both sides by 4. X is greater than or equal to 1. So let's graph that. Circle around that 1, color it in. Going towards the wall. Let's shade it. Let's check it. We've got 4x plus 16 is greater than or equal to 20. Let's use 2. So 4 times 2 plus 16 is greater than or equal to 20. So we have 8 plus 16 is greater than or equal to 20. 24 is greater than or equal to 20. Number 20, we're going to add 6 to both sides. We've got negative 2x is less than 24. Divide both sides by negative 2. So x is greater than, remember we got to switch the sign, we're dividing by negative 2. It's negative 12. Negative 12, negative 11, negative 10, negative 13, negative 14. And circle around it, goes towards the wall. Negative 2x minus 6 is less than 18. We're going to go with negative 11. We have 22 minus 6 is less than 18. 22 minus 6 is 16, which is less than 18, and we're right. The last 4 questions that we have, ladies and gentlemen, are our word problems. Remember, they do take let statements. So this first one, Martina borrowed $98 from her father. You can do no fine charts, you can underline. She plans to repay her father's at $14 per week. We don't know how many weeks. So we have to write and solve an equation to find the number of weeks, W, required to pay her father back. So let W equal number of weeks. The equation would be 14. W equals 98. So 14, W equals 98. Divide both sides by 14. W would then equal 7 weeks. So now to check that. Make sure you use your calculator here. 98 equals 98. This next one you have to read a little bit here. You've got the third side of a triangle is 4 more units than the shortest side. So our shortest side is going to be X. So the third side is 4 more units than. So X plus 4 is the third side. It says the longest side is 3 times the length of the shortest side. So 3X is the longest side. It says the perimeter of the triangle is 24 units. Remember, the perimeter is adding them all up. So we have to find the lengths of all 3 sides. Now we have to write and solve an equation. So here we go. Our equation, x plus 4 plus 3x equals 24. So now let's solve it. So we have x plus 4 plus 3x equals 24. So we have 3, 4, and 5 x's plus 4 equals 24. Subtract 4 from both sides. We have 5x equals 20. So divide by 5. So we have x equals 4. So the shortest side is 4. The third side is 4 plus 4, which equals 8. The longest side is 3 times 4, which equals 12. And if you add those three up, you get 24, but we do have to check it. We do have to check it. So, I'm sorry, I kind of went off the page there, but that's your equation right there. So let's do the check. Okay. Our check is x plus 4 plus 3x is 24. So we have 4 plus, in parentheses, 4 plus 4 plus 3x times 4 equals 24. So we have 4 plus 8 plus 3 times 4. Remember, you can't do 2 operations in one. So now I have 4 plus 8 plus 12 plus 24. These are all additions, so I can add them all together. We'll get 24 equals 24. Okay? Last 2 problems. The first one is Jesse wants to spend less than $18.75 on new socks. Each pack costs $6. Write and solve an inequality, guys, to find the maximum number of packs she can buy. So again, our let statement, let x equal x of socks. So we've got 6x equals $18.75. So we have 6x equals $18.75. Divide both sides by 6. So x equals $3. Oops, not even equals, guys. Got to be less than. Sorry. Gotta be less than, Mrs. Smythe. Oh, bad, Mrs. Smythe. Has to be less than 3.125, or x has to be less than 3.13. So now to check that, 6x is less than $18.75. So let's check that out. Or in this case, $3.12, because it's got to be less, guys. So it has to be less than $3.12. So I'm going to pick $3.10 or $3.11. Which is $18.66. And that is correct. Our last one, he's a salesperson. He earns $600 a week plus $50 for every computer he sells. Write an inequality to determine the number of computers that he must sell in order to earn at least $1,250 a week. Okay, so let x equal number of computers and we've got 600 plus 50x has to be less than or equal to $1,250. So 600 plus 50x is less than or equal to 1,250. So subtract 600 from both sides. We have 50x is less than or equal to 650. Divide both sides by 50. So x has to be less than or equal to 13. So now to check it, 600 plus 50x is less than or equal to 1250. I'm going to pick 12 plus 50 times 12 less than or equal to 1250. 600 plus 50 times 12 equals 600 is less than or equal to 1250. 1200 is less than or equal to 1250. Oh, let me move that up. Sorry, guys. All you're missing is the checks. Let me show those to you. And to interpret that, okay, Jesse must buy no more than three packs of socks. Not money, guys, sorry. That's 3, so 18. Here, he must sell at least at most, sorry, or at least 13 computers. Sorry, guys, because this should be more, this should be greater than. And the same here. Sorry, guys.